Hello Internet, I'm Steve Mike, and this is Tactical Kung Fu Mixed Martial Arts, tkfmma, and I'm going to be talking to you about breathing, about your breath. Okay, it's incredibly important, so important in fact that I've left it out of my epic long, like 87-minute long video about fitness where I talked about everything except for breathing. And I have it on very good authority that you're not going to last very long if you don't breathe, right? Breathing is massively important for everything, getting oxygen in your brain, in your blood, in the muscles, all of it. Breathing is so incredibly important. And when I was editing, I was like, oh yeah, whoops, forgot that mess. Alright, but I'm making this video talk a little bit about breathing, and there's really two ways to go about this that I'm going to be talking about, and they're almost like diametrically opposed. They still involve you getting oxygen to your brain, but they're very different, and it's all contextual based. Again, if you've seen some of my other videos, context is key. It's vital to how you do stuff and why you're doing stuff and going about it, okay? So the first one I'm talking about is one that you see everywhere, alright, is when I'm breathing out whenever I'm exerting my muscles, okay? If I'm gonna use my cell phone because I don't have any other way. I should have brought a prop. I'm surrounded by weights everywhere, and I totally forgot one for this video. It's okay. Use this phone, alright? It weighs a lot. It certainly costs a lot. That's the thing. But if I'm got a weight in my hand, I'm gonna breathe out as like sin. Okay, that's what you're going to be doing. Okay, you don't want to like breathe out really fast or punch really fast with the weight in your hand because you can hyperextend the elbow. So that's my little disclaimer. Don't actually have a weight in your hand and punch really fast because that's not how you build up speed. Your speed comes from repetition. It comes from having the weight in your hand and punching really slowly over and over and over ad nauseum for a long time. Now, put that down. If you don't have any weight, if it's just your body, you can breathe naturally, okay, in and out as your muscles are going. You can kind of think your lungs are one big muscle, whereas these, they're all small muscles, okay? So I don't need to have these in sync. Now, if I'm pushing weight outside of my body, you know, if I'm weightlifting, if I'm lifting a box, if I'm moving a person, if I'm having to move and manipulate weight that's outside of my body, it's not my own, then I need to breathe out with whatever movement I'm doing. Okay, so all the people who say that, they're not wrong, but that's the context, right? If I'm like chopping wood or whatever, I've got an axe. Every time I hit something, alright, so it's pushing that weight, it's exerting those muscles, you have to breathe with that. But if I'm just me, not doing nothing, just body weight exercises like I showed in the previous epically long video, then I can breathe normally, okay? I don't have to breathe with every single movement. I can treat it almost like a cardio workout, and I'm really strengthening my lungs. And I do this mentally. I have to control my breathing as I'm doing everything else. Regardless of what it is, you can even do this with push-ups, with every exercise that I showed you. In fact, if you watch those videos, whenever I'm doing them, I'm not breathing hard. I'm not even really breathing heavy at all because like it is kind of a cardio thing. I'm operating, these guys are doing their own thing. Everything else is working hard. That's the kind of breathing you want, and that isn't as abnormal as you think. That you actually see that in a lot of places, it's just not really emphasized. Okay, so if you look at like stage performers, like musicians and people on Broadway, anybody who is singing and dancing at the same time, they're not breathing with every step. They're having to like hold certain notes. They're like, I am dancing, I'm not breathing with every single step that I take, because they would pass out, right? They couldn't do that. Literally, there's like two things that don't work together. So they have to be able to breathe naturally and have their lungs and their diaphragm operate independently of their legs and arms and limbs and everything that's just moving around. Okay, you also see this in sprinters, because you know those guys aren't taking a breath with every step that they take. Man, they're going as fast as they possibly can. So they're like taking, I don't know, 10 steps as they breathe in and 20 steps as they breathe out, kind of deal. And so, you know, one breath, whole lot of distance, right? Swimmers also do this because you know for a fact you cannot breathe with every single movement that you do. You would drown, right? So this is not a very uncommon thing. People don't really see it. In fact, I know lots of martial artists who will go to higher elevation to train up there because the air is thinner, because their body has to work more efficiently, or they'll go and buy like elevation masks to reduce the amount of oxygen they can take in so the body works efficiently. And really, they could be a whole lot better. I'll say this, could be a whole lot better, but it's weak-minded, man. If I use my mind, mentally, I can control my breathing, my air intake. I don't have to have everything be limited around me. I can just control the amount that goes in and goes out, and better control myself, because you can't really control the environment, right? You can definitely control you at any time. Okay, so I'm gonna have this slow and controlled breathing as I'm doing stuff. It's going to make me more efficient, make my body work with what it has, because we're just doing body weight exercises. It's going to be more efficient to work with the oxygen that it has, instead of having like, oh, I gotta, you know, breathe in or breathe out with every single motion. If I'm doing, like I said, if I'm doing weightlifting, or if I'm moving weight that's not my own, then yes, breathe out with every movement. Where it becomes tricky is in martial arts, mixed martial arts especially, because you have to be able to go from basically striking to grappling. Grappling is like aggressive hugging. Okay, you're moving somebody else's body weight. You're working with resistance other than yourself. So you have to be able to translate and go back and forth as far as your breathing is concerned. But most people just do one kind of breathing the entire time and get gassed out very quick. And you need to be able to control that. Like I said, martial arts guys are really good. They could be a whole lot better, I think. That's my personal opinion. But yes, breathing, vastly, vastly important, and also can be one of the more difficult things to actually train, because you're having to force your body to be more efficient with what it's got, while also trying to force your body to go from not exercising to exercising. So the process that I generally recommend for people, getting into the habit of exercising first, okay, just breathe and don't pass out. That's a big thing. Don't breathe too much and hyperventilate, but definitely don't pass out. Get that going first, then start doing your slow, controlled breathing as you do these things. Go through all of these different moments. So it's entirely possible. It just takes a little bit of discipline and dedication and all those great positive aspects that supposedly are in every single martial art, but are just magically absent because they're that great. I know I've said it before, I'm probably the only person who is highly critical of my own industry. Anyways, you're not in my industry, you're just watching this video so you know how to breathe. Watch my other videos about all the different exercises and then apply this to that. This is probably up there as far as one of the more difficult things to do, but it's very important. Once you get it, man, working out is easy. Once your body learns to become more efficient, you can start doing more reps, and you can treat certain exercises as a cardio workout because they kind of are, considering how many muscles you're using. You're not isolating one individual muscle group like a weightlifting scenario. If you're weightlifting, breathe out with movement. If not, if you're just working with yourself, breathe naturally. Alright, so that is all I got as far as breathing is concerned. If anything else, the biggest takeaway is remember to breathe. Okay, you gotta breathe. That's incredibly important. Like I said, so important that I forgot it in my other video. But this is a nice follow-up video where we're going to spend an entire amount of time just talking about breathing, and definitely just breathe. And most people, in through the mouth, out through the nose. Okay, if you just breathe in and out through your mouth, it's going to get dry really quickly, which is why you should also hydrate. Got a video on that too. Okay, in the mouth, out the nose, breathe all the time. Slow and controlled, but go really fast. I'm Seafood Mike. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. Watch my other videos. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Like this thing. You can leave me a comment. It's all good. Okay. This is Tactical Kung Fu Mixed Martial Arts, TKF, MMA. I'm on all the social medias, Instagram, and definitely YouTube. That's what this is. But Facebook and Twitter, I've got like 17 followers. You can be one of them. You can be number 18. Okay. But yeah, TKF, MMA, and I will catch you later. Take it easy, guys. Be good to each other.